This is Earl Amin with the 2024 Side Podcast, where CEOs of small to global companies share their insights. It is 6 questions in 9 minutes because top CEOs know how to listen and be concise. So let's get to it. So, welcome, first of all. And in just a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Thanks, Earl. I'm Todd Archbold, and I'm the CEO of PrairieCare. We're a psychiatric health system in Minnesota, one of the largest psychiatric medical groups in the nation, offering a variety of psychiatric services to all ages. I personally started my work as a school social worker many years ago and moved over into healthcare, applying my skills and interests in working with individuals and family systems to work more of the treatment setting. My passion for social work may have actually proven more valuable throughout my career than my degree in business, but I'm very happy with the work I do, and I'm glad to be here to share a little bit more of my story and what we're up to.
Excellent. Well, begin by telling us what's the best thing about being the CEO.
Sure. So I've been here at PrairieCare about 15 years and started in this role just over a year ago. And a mentor of mine once told me long ago that he said, Todd, what your problem is you don't like it when things are stupid. And I think it was meant to be a compliment, but it sort of got me thinking. And, as CEO, I have the opportunity to address those things, to fix those things and be a change maker. And it's very satisfying, but it's also a big responsibility. I get a lot of fulfillment in that, creating positive change. And I think I really thrive in including others in the process, being a very inclusive leader, understanding processes. I think it's really important that when you're trying to address changes, trying to improve something, that you truly understand all the moving parts and also the relevant data. I'm a big believer that you have to really get to the data and make sure you understand it. In a similar vein, you have to be socially aware when you're making changes. Things such as turf, others' purview, and certainly the butterfly effect of if I change something here, what's the potential impact that may have in various other areas, so on and so forth. So it's been a very, very gratifying experience. I enjoy that about my job, but it is, like I said, a big responsibility, something I don't take lightly.
Certainly not. Now, I hear in talking with other CEOs that, managing their team, whether small or large, and seeing the road ahead can be a challenge. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, throughout 2020, we've had such heavy opportunities to demonstrate and test our own resiliency, and the challenge we've faced have been immense. Almost each one of us has faced our own mortality in different ways. Starting on the onset of the pandemic with facing the existential angst of what's going to be happening in our world. I think today many are in a newfound place of humility and maybe even surprised where we're at. As a team, we've talked a lot about this, this VUCA environment, living amongst volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. And we've created a prophylactic here at PrairieCare where we talk about the 70-20-10 mindset, that if we can spend 70% of our time focused on the core duties of our work, the things we signed up for, the things that fill our cup, if we can spend then 20% focused on challenges, pushing ourselves, maybe just doing the things that we've been avoiding, those things that are always just on the bottom of our to-do list, and then giving ourselves time for that last 10% to be creative. I call it radical ideas. So we've created this model to really get our team focused in the right areas, to lock arms, knowing that we are moving forward in a cohesive way out of this VUCA environment and hopefully into the future. That's a much healthier, safer place to be.
Well, let's hope for the best of that. So that said, what piece of insight do you want to share with other CEOs?
Something I wished I would have known much earlier in my career, and it's only become apparent to me as I've been talking about it and learning more from others recently, is truly the value of compassion and emotional intelligence and leadership. For the last decade, a colleague and I have been managing our leadership development program here at PrairieCare, and we've dubbed it Leading with the Head and the Heart. And the content is rooted in compassion and emotional intelligence. And once we create that foundation of the human connection, we then start to pile on some of more of the technical skills, things like project management and marketing and, dealing with spreadsheets. And I think too often people have this backwards. They start with what they consider the hard skills. And, by the way, you might learn something about emotional intelligence along the way. I believe that stories are more important than spreadsheets. And there are some great inspirational authors and speakers out there I've learned a lot from. Brene Brown talks about vulnerability. Simon Sinek talks about compassion, teamwork. And I think both of them have helped pave the way for more humility and, again, emotional intelligence within leaders. I think too many people assume that successful leaders rarely fail, that they always do things the right way. And I think something we need to talk about more is the contrary may be true. I think those who find success, who are resilient, have actually failed a lot, have had problems, but they learn how to turn those into opportunities, how to deal with it, how to accept failure and move on, and accept those consequences and apply the new learnings and so forth.
Right. Very good. Well, what other successful CEOs like yourself would you like to acknowledge and should be on my podcast?
Sure. There are a handful of people that quickly come to mind. Scott Morrell is the president and founder of Rebar Leadership. He's somebody I've learned so much from. He has so much to share, so much wisdom, has taught me a lot about, again, that compassion, emotional intelligence. Some other healthcare leaders here in Minnesota, I think of Andy Cochran, who's the president of North Memorial Health, Heidi Northrup, who's the CEO of Southlake Pediatrics, both solid partners that I work a lot with in the community who are, I think, cut from the same cloth and very like-minded.
Indeed. Thank you for that. Well, now the final question, how do you celebrate a win?
Sure. Well, I think the response is it depends. It depends what that win is. And in many ways, it can be, cupcakes or happy hour, kind of a special treat with that team, depending on what you've accomplished and who the team is. I think finding ways to celebrate with folks and making it meaningful is very important. For example, as a year-end gift to our executive team here, I had an artist create a painting of characters of our whole executive team and kind of placed us in this outdoor setting in Minneapolis, and we turned it into a puzzle. So not only was it something that was very meaningful, but of course turned out to be something kind of fun to deal with during our quarantine holiday season. So I'm a big fan that you need to take the time to celebrate, recognize your successes, and do something that's meaningful to the group that was involved.
Indeed, indeed. Todd, it's been a pleasure having you on. Tell us, how can people find you?
Sure. Well, you can find more about me and PrairieCare at PrairieCare, prairie-care.com. We have our own website at headheartleadership.com, where we talk more about the value of compassion, emotional intelligence, leading with the head and the heart, and so forth. And you can even learn more about this 70-20-10 mindset that our team is embracing here at PrairieCare.
Very good. Very good. Well, this is Earl Amin with the 2020 Foresight Podcast. For more insights, go to LinkedIn and search for the Gray Owl Company. Todd, it's been a great pleasure having you on today. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Earl.